How about whatever you want?
Where are we streaming?
But we should probably drop the F word again.
Please do.
I posted one yesterday of seeing the shrine to
Oh, yes.
John in the hallway.
All right, I think we're going to slide down one because I don't think our
I'm the girl with too much hand
I don't think
sanitizer.
that-
I'm a teacher. Sanitize everybody. If I could spray them with Lysol as they walk in, I would.
Oh, see, I wouldn't worry.
Thank you.
Alright. Slide down. Are we doing?
I will slide
We have
back.
4 whole minutes, people. What are we all still?
Yeah.
We're all here.
Right?
Everybody
4 minutes
update
to
your
go.
socials to say that you are here.
Yeah, go ahead and anything you see down here at the digital media track, go ahead and use the hashtag DragonConDMT 2021. Anything you put up there will end up here. And so that's pretty fun.
So can you say that hashtag one more time?
Yeah, it is hashtag DragonConDMT digital media track.
Nice.
Also appropriate for what time is it? 2:30?
Yeah,
Hey.
it's a Friday.
That's right. 2021, Tyra, is the end of that.
Oh Lord, there's a number 2.
We got letters, we got numbers, we got all sorts of stuff going
God.
on.
I got issues.
I think we all have issues. We're all there like
Actually.
reintegrating to society. How
How do you do
work?
that?
How do you do that? Me not wearing a mask at a panel table?
How do you do that?
The vaccine, it's beautiful juice.
Yes, I have Dolly magic, and I'm very proud of it.
I have the Pfizer. I was gunning for the Dolly juice, but I did not get it.
My husband has the Pfizer too.
Yeah.
Dolly juice.
The Dolly juice.
I love these terminologies here at DragonCon.
We're doing great.
Yeah, we created teams.
For
I see a whole DragonCon lingo.
yeah. WATCH. It's like I have to act like a professional and I forget how to spell.
Well, Mike, since didn't let you go anywhere, we're going to rock and roll with that.
All
You
right.
wanna kick it off a little early? Oh, spicy.
You
All
guys,
right.
Give me 1 second to post a swipe up link.
Awesome job, people.
Yeah, DragonCon DMT 2021. I tried to write it as big as I could to fit the whole thing in there. It's a long hashtag. I'd like to talk to the hashtag committee before next year.
He's in the back.
He's in the back.
He's in the back.
That's Alex. He's our social media guru.
Shout out Alex. Big
What up,
help.
Alex?
Massive support.
You've done awesome, Alex. But it is a long hashtag. But see, then it won't get confused with
I
other
can't wait to
hashtags.
talk about this with the panel because I am learning a lot right now. We haven't even started really, but we can because Charles said so, and Charles is the boss. Y'all, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Today, wow, tonight,
Yeah.
going strong.
It's
My
the
name,
DMT.
yeah, it's the DMT. Hashtag DragonCon DMT 2021. Easy to lose track of the time when you're having this much fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For real, y'all, thank you. The past 2 years have been insane. And a lot of us have done a lot of stuff on the internet. And I don't know about y'all. I've been having varying amounts of success from none to very little. And so personally, I thought I need help. And so I assembled a super team here of digital media pros, whether it's their real life job or their side of the desk thing, because I have questions. I know y'all have questions, and I wanted to get experts in front of you so that I can take a bunch of notes and learn a lot of things. So if we could just kind of go down the panel here, starting to my immediate left, let's do name, pronouns, and then just your digital media experience.
Okay. I am Faydra Black, she, her. I am a Twitch streamer, and I play around on TikTok, so that's kind of my social media expertise.
Oh, yeah. I'm Vic or Vicious Frockery. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. I am a semi-pro cosplayer who makes a lot of stuff. I do stream a lot of tabletop gaming on Twitch, and I have worked in the advertising industry for 6 years. So that's my spiel.
That was very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Yvette Kendall. My pronoun is, this is my first time doing pronouns, so let me get this right.
You got it.
I'm she, her. Is that right?
Nailed it.
All righty. So I am a sci-fi author, and I have fallen in love with Clubhouse as a way to speak to people that are interested in my brand of sci-fi directly. And then we connect to, of course, Instagram and Facebook, and some are on Twitch and TikTok from there. So that's kind of, I just migrate to whatever's naturally next.
I can't wait to hear you talk about Clubhouse. I'm just going to say
Me
that.
too.
So I'm Tyra Burton. I'm a professor at Kennesaw State University teaching about social media marketing, and I have some podcasts that I'm trying to revive. And what else was I supposed to say?
Your pronoun.
Oh, my pronoun. I have them here because I can't remember. She, her. So, if I forget to tell you, I've got them pinned to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Ellison, he, him. I do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, a weird Pokemon, like between two ferns kind of style show that is very stupid.
It's very good.
Oh my gosh! If you like weird, you might like it. It might be awkward on purpose. But I let my fiance do everything social media related for our shows and our podcast network. And I want to help, but I don't know how.
We are here to help.
Exactly.
You're going to save my future marriage? And so, I mean, I think kind of one of the things that we do is we have a Facebook, we have a Twitch, we have not a TikTok, we have an Instagram and a Twitter. I guess the first question, is it better to have all the things if you're not going to put the amount of energy required for success in each of them, or is it better to focus?
Ooh, that's very interesting.
I have opinions on that.
I do too.
I'd love to hear yours first.
Yeah.
Like teaching
From
marketing.
from a teaching standpoint.
Yeah, because
So I
I have
promise
my
And I have
humble
mine,
onion
so-
as like an individual. Yeah.
So I think that you should figure out where your target market is,
Yeah.
and then B, focus first, because if you do all the things badly, they're bad.
Right.
So if you say, okay, my listeners are mostly on, or watchers or whatever content you're kind of creating are mostly on Instagram, or they're mostly on TikTok, then focus there and get really good at that, and then go to the next one. So that's my things.
Yeah. And for me, it kind of depends on like marketing just yourself. So when I am doing my social media, I'm trying to market my face, my art, my craft, and that's all in one photograph. So it's very easy for me to be like, okay, I'm targeting other individuals that do this, or other individuals that are interested in this. So my thing is photography focused. So my focus is Instagram, and I don't act well. I'm great in person. Video, it is not for me. So I could try really hard on TikTok, but splitting my attention was super difficult because that's not how I enjoy making content. So I feel like if you understand your audience and you understand what kind of media you enjoy making, then that can help inform your strategy, even if you feel like you should be somewhere, because you are dedicating your energy to something that's going to further your brand in a way that translates to the content that you know you can reliably produce.
Well, and if you're not comfortable or good at that particular type of content, then it's going to show in what you put out, and people are going to be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
So you stick with what you're comfortable with. But you should at least make an account on all the platforms. So you have it, you have that name, because you don't want somebody to go, oh, that's a really cool name. I'm going to go make a TikTok account with that name. And now if you do want it later, someone else already has it, or it can cause brand confusion if people go to search for those names and something else comes up.
Yeah, I agree with. I do that for all of whenever I come up with a name for a book or some type of product, I just do the whole circuit. I get the domain name, I get the, all of the emails, I get the, I just travel and do all the social media. And that way, whether I use it or not, it's mine. I own it. No one can take it and use it for something else, for the brand confusion. But I found that hashtags are your friend.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And no matter what platform you go to, all of them or a couple of them or whatever, you can put up your image, you can put up your content, you can put up your video, and you can hashtag it to the point where it goes everywhere it needs to be with that one thing. So I found out that people do look at those hashtags and they respond to them. So I'm not a Twitter person. I just don't get it yet.
Twitter's a lot. Speaking of hashtags, Twitter's not
lot.
very forgiving with hashtags at
Right.
all.
No, not at all.
If you post less than 2 hashtags in a tweet, Twitter goes and will just completely tank your content.
I kind of don't get Twitter as of yet, but I know that for Instagram and even LinkedIn and Facebook, and they do migrate and people do see them, and you do get kind of branded. That is, I call it a soft brand with all of those hashtags coming up. So it works for me. But again, you can't really hashtag on Clubhouse. So it is really more of a conversation, and it's people going to follow you that can then go straight over to your Instagram. They set it up to where if they follow you, here, follow them on Instagram or follow them on Twitter. So it's a conjunction platform that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I had a clarifying question there. V, you said if you use less than 2 hashtags?
Oh, sorry. If you use more than 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I misspoke.
No worries.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh crap! I see them all on Instagram where it's just like a.
Well, Instagram does a lot
Instagram
more
does,
with
yeah.
hashtags. Twitter, they kind of get
It
lost.
used to be that if you used less than 11 hashtags on Instagram, and which is like the most arbitrary number, but if you use less than 11 hashtags on Instagram, your post would not do as well. If you used more than 2 hashtags on Twitter, your post would not do as well. If you used more than 30 hashtags on Instagram, it will just stop. You can put as many as you want in, but it'll stop tagging it. There's a lot of rules.
We can have an entire conversation about hashtags.
Oh, for sure. But like when you are focusing your brand and kind of understanding where your following is, I'm super interested in Clubhouse because we were talking about kind of figuring out where you want to focus your attention. I am really interested in Clubhouse as a focus because it doesn't have that hashtagging system and discovery when you're trying to find your focus, discovering new faces and figuring out where new people are.
Your hashtag on Clubhouse is the title of your room.
Okay.
So you have to have a very alluring title.
Can you, for the members of the audience that might not know what Clubhouse is?
Oh, it is another social media platform app that you have to be invited into, and it was originally just on iPhone. It is now on Android. Again, you have to know someone that has to invite you in. And once you're there, it's basically an audible Instagram, Facebook, Twitter kind of
It's like
mashup.
IG Live kind
Yeah,
of.
it's kind of, well, you don't see, you only see when you have your page, you have to have to say an event. So we're going to call it Dragon Con Loki's. Okay, that's the name of the event. Okay, so everyone,
a lot of variants.
Right, okay. So a lot of people will go, oh, okay, this is interesting. So you have to say 100 people come in there. You can invite people to the stage. Now, when you invite them, like you, the audience, and this is the stage, only the stage can speak. The audience listens, but you can raise your hand and the stage will bring you up on the stage to answer your, let you speak, and then they'll put you back in the audience. But there is just a photo image of you. And when you're speaking, there's a little circle around your image that just vibrates while you're talking. So people can know, oh, he's speaking, she's speaking, whatever.
Okay.
So you get to talk about whatever your subject is, and it usually leads to other subjects. And people basically listen to you, and you and your panel, you have your conversations and whatever. And it's very interesting because pun, you have a captive audience. So it's really wonderful for advertising your brand or talking about what projects you have coming out or whatever you're doing. And when you bring other people on the stage, the conversation gets bigger and bigger. And the next thing you know, you can go from having 100 people in the room or even 10 people to 2,000. And just imagine these people are all over the world. They're not just in your state or your neighborhood or your circle. Anyone on Clubhouse can look at your title and go, that's interesting, I want to get in. And then once you're in there, if they like what you're doing or talking about, they basically follow you, and then they come to your Instagram and your Twitter, and they even now have an inbox where you can talk and message one-on-one. But people have went in there, just say one time Steven Spielberg was in there.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, this is really, really high tier. And someone said, I'm an actor. I want to be in one of your movies. He said, okay, go ahead and audition for me right there on Clubhouse.
That's nuts.
And he said, go in my message, give me your number, we'll talk later. And they apparently connected to where that person is now working with them.
That's
So you can
wonderful.
do like live auditions, like
So kind of
right
like full like top of the funnel for like engagement.
And you have people on there, you know, Jordan Peele. I mean, all these people that come on. Tiffany Haddish will not stay out of there. It's like every time I go, I'm like, oh, not you again. It's like you're just like Clubhouse overload, and it's like but you go in there and you feel that 6 degree of separation on Clubhouse does not exist.
Cool.
And that's what's so great about it.
And just the content doesn't stay. It's live and then it's
Oh yeah, there's no recording unless someone is at home doing it on another phone themselves, but there's no recording, there's no transcripts. You know, you have your conversation, you play your music, whatever, and once the conversation ends, it ends.
So like the Instagram lives and the TikTok lives and things
Yeah.
like that, where it's just like a live audience.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's been such a huge push on Twitter. Tried to do it, and then they went, please do not perceive us.
They took theirs away.
They took theirs away. Instagram, TikTok, all of these things are kind of, I feel like it's sort of jumping off of Clubhouse, but everybody at once went, you are going to do live video content.
Right.
And that's going to spike your page. And I tried for a very long time to be like, okay, I'm going to follow the Instagram thing and do lives once a week. And I would sit with my watercolors and I would like paint my new costume designs on live, which was fun. But the time commitment for building a community was not what I was willing to put in. And it was something that I kind of had to float in and out of. But it is really interesting to see where the communities are kind of flowing and how that like one-to-one connection is happening.
Social media has a big appetite.
I mean, I did a
It
TikTok
super
live the
does.
other day of me just organizing my costume boxes before con. Like I was
Yeah.
literally on live talking to people while I
Yeah.
was pulling things out of the boxes and organizing them. And there was like 3,000 or 4,000 people that would pop in and just be like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Organizing my junk."
Yeah. Do you want to hang out and chat?
Pretty much.
It's very conversational, and
It
I
was
think
really
there's
fun.
a big focus on building a community that you can speak to in a one-to-one basis and be very friendly with.
I do my makeup on TikTok live all the time. I'll sit there and just prop my phone up and do my
Yeah.
makeup and talk to people. I'm like, I don't know what
That's
color
such a
eyeshadow I want to
TikTok,
do.
like,
And people
phenomenon.
just like pick my eyeshadow and
Yeah.
it's fun. Then I don't have to make decisions.
Yeah, and community people love like those polls, and they love to have that one-on-one real connection and say, "I do want you to wear green eyeshadow right now," and you're like, "That's a great idea," and you kind of get to do the thing. And it's a great idea aggregator, but when you're building a community, that kind of one-on-one,
Yeah, the building
I
you
wanna
have to
talk
have
to
it.
you.
Yeah.
People want to interact. They want to know that they know you.
yes,
And it can be something as, minute, like say, pick an eyeshadow to telling you, what next job you should take. And it's like
What do I want to
they
eat for dinner?
really, really want to be involved and have that personal, attention from the people that they love. And that's what's so interesting, I think, about Clubhouse, because they talk to someone and ask whatever question you want to ask. And it's not like, hey, I don't know you. Where did you come from? It's like, it's understood in this space. That's what you do.
yeah.
People want the
Something
interaction.
that I heard that he said was, I didn't want to spend that time
Mm-hmm.
doing that. And audience, when y'all have questions, feel free to hop up to the mic or throw your hand up, because we want it to be really conversational here, right? So when you have a question, let us know and we can hop in. So I will get you immediately after this. Panel, how do you decide for yourselves what is worth that time investment?
Mhm.
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
Like, what do you enjoy? What are you having fun? Like, I don't like Twitter. I don't just randomly
I don't
type in
either.
sentences.
I love
I don't like Twitter. I'd rather
I
go
love
on
Instagram.
Instagram and post pictures and TikTok and do videos. I'd
Wait.
rather do that than just type sentences and things
I
like
shit
that.
post.
Twitter is polarizing? What?
What do you mean the Bird app is a hell site?
Never.
I have done a lot of trial and error, but I decide what I want to spend time on based on what my growth looks like on that platform, how it serves me, and then how I can best give what I'm giving to the community. Because
Cool.
when you're marketing yourself, or when you're marketing a brand or a book or a podcast or a Twitch stream, you want to say, okay, what am I delivering to these people? Why do they want it? What are they getting out of it? And if it's a cool storytelling experience or a cool visual or a tutorial or something that you are teaching them, then how is that best displayed? And does this platform help me deliver that or not?
Right.
TikTok I use very infrequently because I'll post a long video that took me a long time to make, usually about a month, because I film little snippets of
Right.
what it was to make something, and then I post it, and it does okay, and then I go, sweet, and I stop paying attention to the comments, because spending all of that time making a bunch of video content means I'm not sewing.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, the amount of time that I have to put into it is not super worth it. But if I take a bunch of photos, which takes 2 seconds, I can post all of that on Instagram, and that does really well.
Right.
So my trial and error was doing that method and giving back to my community and helping people get eyes on how to make new stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's my
Different things
little-
will work for different people and different audiences as well. And you just have to find what you're comfortable with, what works for
If
you.
I have to comb my hair, I'm not doing it.
Well, see, if I put on makeup,
on Twitter.
If I have to, I don't do videos. I take pictures, probably once a month when I'm like, okay, I have to do something, or my agent says, hey, we need new pictures, which I hate, but I even hate doing Zooms. If I have to comb my hair and find eyelashes, and I just, no.
we'll see, like
Eyelashes are
yesterday,
Yeah.
before I came to Dragon Con, I had makeup on, I did my hair. I did like 30 TikToks.
You have to, 'cause
Yeah.
that way you don't have to do any more for a
I
while.
just kind of post
Maximize
them for, the next like week or two.
Yeah.
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 So now
All
I don't
my
have to worry about
photos are photos
Yeah.
of my hands, because I'm like, I don't have to put on makeup. I don't gotta do anything.
You'll see 30 in like the same outfit. It's like,
Yeah.
fresh.
Well, if
Yeah,
you
what
do
do
the
you-
hands thing, people go like, "What's wrong with the rest of you?" Nothing. It's just none of
Nothing.
your business.
I'm
I just
crazy.
like, here are my
Then you
hands.
get the reveal later where you're like, actually, I am sexy today. And then everybody's like, okay. And then I go back to posting little gremlin photos of my chip nail
Yeah.
polish.
Okay, so I want to say something.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing for me because I'm trying to get over it so I can to do video. Is I think we have to get past the point where we have to look perfect to be on camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have started
Because-
doing
and
that
then-
with TikTok.
Yeah,
My
it's
last
huge. I just think it's huge, and so that's my thing. I don't want to do video because I'm a big girl and I don't want to put on makeup and blah blah. And so that's my commitment for myself was this year to start doing live streaming.
Hey,
I haven't done it yet, but it's only September, so there's hope.
and I really
Hey,
started
Tyra.
that before.
boy creators probably don't worry about that as much.
That is
So,
true.
like, I don't want y'all to have to worry about it either.
That's not necessarily true. I'm just
they
saying the
they
times
worry
are
about a
changing.
different
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
a couple weeks ago, like I was having some mental health spirals. So I started
Yeah.
talking about it on TikTok, and I
Yeah.
did it with no makeup on. Like
That's
I'm
right.
crying, I'm
Mm.
showing my emotions,
Very
and
good.
those have actually been so much more of a growth for my other social media platforms because everyone's were like, it was real emotion. It was like not fake. And like, I had so many people come to me and messages being like, I'm really proud of you and I'm really looking up to you. And you're really an inspiration for not hiding your
Yeah.
mental health, for
Mm.
not hiding the things that are going on in your life. Because being a content creator, you tend to hide the negative parts of your life.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And people aren't used to actually seeing that raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
for me
you're
to
right.
actually be putting that on the internet, like one of the videos has almost 1 million views on it
Oof.
on TikTok.
You know,
and it's like people
Yeah.
are just like, you're inspiring for that to be able to talk about
Yeah.
this. And I'm just like, that's not what I was trying
Yeah,
to do.
I want to say something about that.
to have that kind of growth though, it's like, for us watching and for you to do it yourself, that just takes, that you put on your big girl panties to do that. And the people that's watching, we have to do the same, because I'll tell you, there's a girl that I know and she's, into social media and things like that. And she wears a lot of, units, wigs and stuff like that. She likes it different, and that's fine. Most women do that, and that's fine. And one day she showed up on Instagram
No hair.
and she was, and she it wasn't that she didn't have any hair. She was like, you all want to know if I have, why wear all the wigs? I don't have edges. And it's like all this was gone, and she had took the stocking cap out, and she had this big afro, and she put eyelashes on. She said, this isn't me. Sometimes you just have to be who you, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm happy, if I'm sad, I was so confused, because I was like, that takes such guts to do.
And like originally, like the videos, I was literally recording them for my therapist to talk about things.
That's
and then
all good.
and then I posted them on TikTok.
Yeah,
but I don't even know why I did it. It was just one of those, like, I felt really alone, really isolated.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know. And I just randomly posted it, and it was just like, and I just and I'm like, that's insane. Yeah. But just like, and you actually saw a whole different side of the internet too, because so much you post, especially on Twitter and stuff, you see so much of the negative side of social media, where people are just vile, and you post something really emotional and you're expecting people to react badly.
Yeah.
But like the support, and other people are like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do this? And like, because I have my Twitch stream and all that attached to that, I have like my Amazon wish lists and things like that. And all of a sudden I started getting like all these presents and stuff. Like, hey, smile.
It is really sweet.
Hey, I hope you're okay. Like, keep your head up, queen. Someone sent me a tiara. I'm like, oh my God, I got a tiara. It was the coolest thing ever.
That is very cute.
What was the question?
One second before we jump off. For me, it's really, I love to make a lot of content that, it is very raw and is like me, because I talk about my life as an activist very often. But threading the needle between being very real and yourself, and who you are, and dealing with all of the struggles that you have, and not letting people get parasocial with you,
right?
And very invasive with who you are and where you live and all of that stuff. Because I'm very open. I live in Orlando. I don't want anybody to actually know where I live, and I don't want anyone to know my actual business address. So especially when you're acting as a professional, you have to be really careful, being super real, because that's what people respond to. That's what people are like, okay, that's a human being with no makeup on, who's just making something because they're passionate, or who's sharing a story because they're passionate. But yeah, it's a very interesting needle to thread. And I feel like 2020 completely changed the way that we put ourselves out there, and trying to really get in between those wedges and say, okay, I am who I am on the internet, but also I'm protecting myself, and I have a private
different
life.
names, different emails.
Yes,
you're like all over the
you
place.
have to know what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
If you have children, where do they play into that?
Right.
Where does your spouse play if they're not a part of it? My husband is like a ghost.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
He does exist, I promise. My friend in the back would tell you that. But you have to have those boundaries of what's going to be in your videos. What are you not going to talk about? If you refer to your children, are you going to refer to them by their names or by code names? Or
Yeah, see, my child, we refer to her by a nickname. She has her own Instagram, but she has her own fake name for hers.
Yeah.
So she can, because she goes to a lot of the Twitch Atlanta events, and she's been to DreamHack. She goes everywhere.
That's right.
So it's like she has her own, so we can post things for her without actually showing her name or things like that. And then on my streams, we pretty much have a nickname for her as well, because she kind of has a unique name. So have to be careful with that one.
Awesome. And we did have a question from the audience, so I wanted to turn it over.
I just had, because I had never heard about Clubhouse, so I was really interested. I know you mentioned the concept of having a stage and people talking, and then you said when it's done, it's done, it's gone. Does it stay on the feed, or just
No.
gone?
I just want to repeat the question for the stream, just so that they can hear it too. The question was with Clubhouse, does the content it happens and then it's gone? Does it stay in a feed? Is it accessible to you after? Is it?
No, it's dead. It's
like
gone.
Snapchat back in the day.
Right. It's like when you leave the function, it's completely over. What it does, I believe, is say this is a past. They'll just have the name of the event and the moderator. So my room was at the time, it was let's talk about the God Maps Volume 1, and it was been put on by Yvette Kendall. So the next day I went back and it said yesterday, the name of the event and then my name, but there was nothing, because everything is audible. It was just nothing to say, because everyone was gone.
There's no replays.
Right.
Clubhouse's thing is very exclusive. So that's their selling point. Is
they
that
pretend
if you weren't there, you missed it.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah.
But at least TikTok,
It's a
you have the
FOMO app.
ability to download your own lives
Yeah, and
for
then
like
you can clip
90
it
days.
and you can post
Yeah.
stuff later.
You only have
I'm a
I think
big-
you have like 90 days before you
Yeah.
before it just disappears from your lives.
I'm a big proponent of like, can I use this somewhere else?
Right?
Can I make
Oh,
a piece
yeah.
of content and then like just put it everywhere so that I get the most like bang for my buck and like the most
Less
time?
work, more stuff.
Yeah, because I am a human who has a life and a cat and who would like to work out and eat real cooked meals and not just spend all my time on my phone. Because when you have a Twitter, an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitch stream that goes live twice a week, a full-time day job, you're like, oh, I have 2 jobs.
Or 3 or
Kind of
4.
gotta balance
It is.
3 or
I mean,
4.
if you're going to be a serious content creator, you have to treat it like a job.
You do.
Truly.
I mean,
I
social
mean, even
media
though
is
we're trying-
currency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're trying to say do the things you enjoy, you're still going to have a plan. You still need to have some strategy behind it so that you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
I use a post scheduler for Instagram, which is super helpful.
Which one are you using?
I use Planoly for the free plan because I'm a freelancer. I do.
Oh,
everything
no,
myself.
I'm a
I just
freak.
have
I don't
sticky
need.
notes.
I don't need more than 30 posts a month. You used to be able to use Hootsuite,
Oh.
which is fine. I think they upgraded to only paid at this point, but there's a bunch of schedulers that you can use. Twitter has a native scheduler now,
Mhm.
so if you want to schedule tweets
I
and
do
just say,
that.
I am going live at exactly this time, here's a link, here's my call to action, post this in a week, you can do a bunch of those, and I'll spend 2 hours like setting up all my content, and then all I have to do is just hit post on my phone, and I have an active Instagram, and then all my brain cells that day are spent responding to content instead of spending all the time like, okay, it takes me a half an hour to write this post because it's a tutorial, and then I have to post it, and then I have to spend an hour while I'm eating, and then another hour later checking on all the comments and blah blah blah.
But you also have to be really careful when you're responding to all the social media content because so many people get wrapped up in always responding to things
Bro.
that they forget about the rest of the world. And it's like you almost do have to treat it like a job where like if you go to your office job, you have certain hours where you check email.
I
And
have
you
99
kinda have
plus requests on Instagram right now. I'm sorry.
It's like it's like
You'll be
sometimes you have to
okay.
like just take
You'll
a
be
step
good.
back from always responding to the comments or
Oh,
the
yeah.
questions and like literally just set aside time. Otherwise it gets so overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, I open this and I have like 100 messages and I open this and I have 200 and I open this and you're like, but I need to go eat.
You have to be really aware of like your size creep. So I'm aware that when I'm posting regularly on Twitter, so that's at least 2 tweets a day. Yes, they are original native tweets. It's not retweets. Then I gain about 30 Twitter followers a week. I am aware that my following will go up there if I spend roughly 4 hours on Twitter just responding to people that I know or don't know, just in little responses that are 4 words or more.
The more you interact,
The
because
more
then
you
people
interact,
see your
that's
name
4 hours a day that I would have to spend on Twitter to get that. Does it work? Yeah. Do I sometimes get real distracted and then, oops, I spent 4 hours on Twitter? Yeah. But I have to be very aware that I also have to translate that to Instagram. I also would have to translate that to TikTok. So being very aware and putting fence posts up around how much time you're spending, and saying, okay, I really am proud of this content and therefore I'm going to interact with it, can really help you kind
time
of
management
manage.
is very, 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 very important.
Yeah.
Can
And it
I
helps you
ask-
mitigate those parasocial relationships.
Can I ask the audience how many of y'all content create as full-time versus extra stuff that you do on the side of your full-time job? Hands up if it's like a side gig for you. Yeah,
Who's
me
full
too.
time? That's me. So I do part time for myself and I do full time for my day job. And it's always really funny going to my employer and saying, hi, I could literally spend all day on Discord right now. Do you want me to do that? And sometimes the answer is yeah. And sometimes the answer is absolutely no. You have a million other things to do. But it's astounding how often I could just say, yeah, I could tweak all these logos a little bit to the left if you don't mind giving me 3 hours to do so, and then set up every single social media account.
It's like I'm mostly a stay-at-home mom, so it's kind of like it's my thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like I can do this, but it makes it really flexible with being able to do things with my child, which is why I got into Twitch streaming to begin with, was because being able to do something that I could still watch my kid and be flexible. And when she was younger, I was like, I could talk to people. Because, home as a stay-at-home mom with like a 2 and a 3-year-old, you're like, I miss
Yeah.
people. I want
Yeah.
to talk.
So if I'm growing my presence online, or if I'm trying to grow my presence online, but I also have a full-time job
Mm.
and responsibilities outside of that, what is my best bang for the buck engagement strategy, right? Should I be spending 6 hours a day on Twitter? Should I?
No.
Will that make you feel safe and sane?
No, I've been on
No.
Twitter a long time.
Yeah.
I know better.
Yeah. See, if you know better, then you know better.
It's like a question, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on find your target audience, find where your tribe is most of the time, and focus there. So if that's Twitter, it's hard on Twitter because Twitter is of this moment. So you can tweet a bunch, but nobody's gonna go back and read that stuff. It was yesterday, it's not today. So if it's Twitter, you're going to have to daily focus on it. Otherwise, you're going to fall off on the algorithm. It's easier on something like Instagram or Facebook to not have to be there massively every day. But I can tell you from watching Instagram accounts, the second somebody goes from posting every day to not posting for 4 or 5 days, their discoverability drops off.
I think that's why TikTok works really well sometimes, is because things that you posted 2 weeks ago
Yeah,
will
no,
show
it'll
up on
pop back
people's
up.
For You page today. And you're like, oh, cool. I haven't posted anything in a couple days, but I'm still getting things because of if someone else interacts with it and comments on it, then it throws it back in the algorithm. And then all of a sudden it's reappearing again.
Yeah.
So,
Strangely enough, LinkedIn works that way.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, LinkedIn, if you have a podcast could be or content that's geared toward a business community, on LinkedIn, that content can last a lot longer
It does.
than you would suspect. I've been shocked.
I know on Facebook, I have some relationships where I became a moderator for a couple of pages that
Like
have
groups.
like 30,000 members.
See,
So
Facebook's the one I
because
don't
I'm a
use.
moderator, I get to post my personal work
Right.
whenever I want. And that just
Bang for your buck.
goes and goes and goes. It's like you really have to find that bang for your buck method. And people will comment and it keeps, like she said with LinkedIn, it keeps popping up again and it just never goes anywhere. So that works for me like really well to, get a really large group and do a hashtag and do a really, really interesting image along with what I have to say. And the next thing you know, I get all these people in the inbox. How can I follow? How can I, where's this book or whatever? And it really is just really, really works.
Yeah.
But,
So I feel like the TLDR there is understand what the algorithm is going to do for you.
Right.
And that means reading up on how Instagram's algorithm works, how Twitter's algorithm works, and kind of marrying that with the kind of content that you make and enjoy making.
And the time you have to
And the
devote
time
to
that
it.
you
If you
have.
have time to devote
Yeah.
to Twitter every day, then Twitter may work for you. Like I get the least amount of engagement and
me too.
out of Twitter.
I go super well on Twitter, and it's because my content is stationary and I can continue to bump threads by adding to them.
Right.
So a resource that I use is called Later, which is another post scheduler for Twitter and Instagram. And they have a blog that
Their
will
blog is
tell
great.
you, okay, it's the beginning of 2021. Here's an update on how all these algorithms work and the best times to post and the best ways to bump your content.
We have those for TikTok and Instagram too. Like there's certain
Uh,
hours that work the best.
Yeah,
for,
and they're in the native app, but the native apps tend to be a little bit more like, please post here. We're begging you. And the other blog sites and other resources can kind of tell you a clearer picture of, okay, this is what Instagram expects. This is what Twitter expects. And if you can read those and say, all right, here's a laundry list of 10 things. I can do about 5 of those. That'll grow your page.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to center. Cool. So being really informed on how the algorithms work can answer that question for you.
Can I say something else about Clubhouse? You really have high-end users there. When you go there, you can actually look up the names, just say of whatever superstar or whatever, actor, singer, dancer, whoever that you like. You can actually go to their page and press follow, and it will actually you want to be notified whenever they're on Clubhouse.
Ooh, setting up your notifications.
And, right.
those are
So
important.
so if you're looking to be an actor and whoever is there, you can actually, they'll send you a ping saying they are speaking now. So you can run and jump into their room and you can have an opportunity to interact with them before the drolls, because sometimes you got 10,000 people in the audience of some people
Right.
that come speak, but you can be one of the first where you can say, you press a button that says raise your hand,
Mhm.
where you can say, hey, I have a question, and you can have an opportunity to interact. So I think maximizing that lack of 6 degrees separation is awesome if you're trying to do something with your brand.
If I really admire somebody also on Instagram, I'll set up a post notification.
Yeah.
So when they do post, I can like run and like it real fast, and you know, because I have a following that is not super difficult to manage, but that's occasionally I look at my phone and go, and that's today. I can go back and look at those notifications and say, okay, these are the people that I really admire and I really want to see their work.
Right.
And I can therefore grow my community that way just by, you know, kind of rubbing elbows and making sure that I'm up to date, but also seeing the things that I'm passionate about. So set up post notifications.
Yeah.
The creators that you follow and love, if you set up post notifications for their work, like, thank you.
Then otherwise it gets lost in the feed, and you're like, I didn't miss that.
Because you have to fight the algorithms constantly.
So-
Where like I have best friends, I never see their stuff. I have to go and check their pages and remember to. So post notifications.
So 3 things that I would say. One is that there's things that always last in algorithms. Currency is always going to be at the top. So that's why if you stop posting, it's going to fall you off of there. Outside of that, it's going to be relevancy. So make sure you look at the copy you're using so that it has the keywords that people would search for. I actually disagree with always posting at the quote unquote best times, because what happens is everybody posts then and you're not going to get feed.
Now is the worst time.
Yeah. Because, and especially if you're part of a subset that has a huge following and you've got some hashtags that are really good, all that is going to be posted at the same time, and you're going to be like at the top for a split second, and then you're gone. So what I say instead is, when is your audience on, and when is your audience engaging? Now, it may be at that time, but if you're lucky, it's not. And then you can be there when there's, you know, less people flooding the feed. So I don't mean to disagree, but I would always say, always look at your audience. And my third thing would be about Facebook. And Facebook, the one way that you can really try to get a higher percentage of people to see your stuff is to be in a group. Groups are going to be on people's Facebook feeds more so than anything. They've put community into their mission statement 3 summers ago. They started amping up groups, and groups still are appearing on feeds easier. So, and especially if people follow your group, they'll get notifications when people post there. So you have the page that you've created. You always want to make sure you have that front-facing page, but have a group page connected to it where you're putting in content as well, because that's where you're able to get more interaction.
Awesome.
I think that's all I saved up.
And then we get a question in the audience here. If you want to, you can use the microphone, or we can repeat it when you ask it.
So spinning off of the copy.
Can you please get closer to the mic?
Okay.
Is
I struggle with writing copy. So do you have any pointers or SEO?
I do. So
Words?
words are hard.
Words are hard.
Our dungeon master for our Pathfinder game was like, use your words.
SEO is
I told my
search
child
engine
that.
optimization.
And it's awesome. So what I always do is I write it out someplace else. Like I'll put it in a Word document. If you don't know what Grammarly is a great app. It will help you not make too big of a fool of yourself. Oh, I still can conquer that one. But the other thing is to think about the terminology that people use and try to use that as conversationally as possible. So like Twitter, back when it was 120 characters, would take me half a day to write a tweet because I would be like, oh my God. But remember, a lot of people will read longer ones now. So I would just say, take your time and know that what are the keywords that you need to be in there.
Yep.
And you might have some better suggestions too
For
the since you're in advertising.
For
For copywriting.
So okay.
Sorry, I tossed you and I should have like told you.
This is my so when I am writing copy, I try to understand my audience, and then I try and figure out exactly what they want to hear in the first 10 words, period. So if I am writing a post, the first sentence of my post on Instagram is going to be, I just made a costume from Critical Role. The character's name is Vaxelvan. I can't put Vax on Insta right now because even though it's an elf, So I had to write like Death Walker's Ward, which is a 5e item, a rib cage tutorial because I made something, and that was the first sentence of my post. So I would say, I just finished my Death Walker's Ward ribcage tutorial, and then I wrote the rest of my copy, because when someone hits more, or when someone is scrolling past like the content, they'll see that first and they'll go cool, and then they click on it. So figure out exactly what you want to say, and then after that, be real, like be a human person. And I try and speak to people in a way that is, if it's a tutorial post, I try and be really informative. If it's a personal post, I just try and talk to them like I'm texting a friend, because that's my audience. If I'm writing a post for work, or if I'm writing a post for, like, let's say, Jamba Juice or what have you, then I'm probably going to be a little bit more like, try this right now, like kind of, call to action copy.
Right.
So I think that people get really, I have to say something, I have to, really deliver a point or say something, and I have to fill this box with text. Occasionally, I'll just go, here's exactly what I did. Here's the materials that I used. Thank you for coming by. Send. And that's kind of it. And I think, be real and don't overthink it.
Yeah, that's
kind of my,
don't
overthink it.
That's a great question, though, because I think a lot of us struggle with, like, oh God, I have to have the perfect words.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like Twitter.
These words are going to be so good. If anybody has other questions and wants to line up,
that's super easy.
We like
15 minutes left.
We like socially distanced lines.
Yes.
So I'm sure all of you have had this experience where you make a post that you don't think is going to succeed, and for whatever reason, it is 20 million followers bigger. Do you have any advice for how to capitalize on that, as opposed to, because sometimes it just feels like lightning in a bottle that you can't catch again, and like use it to get more likes in the future?
I have a fun answer.
I didn't know if there was anything like that, because I haven't figured it out.
Yeah. If you've had that happen on a shit post, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's an Among Us. It's literally an Among Us one from like 20 years ago or some shit. And it just says Among Us, and people lose their mind.
Yes. So if you've had that happen on like a super accidental post and you kind of didn't mean to, I'm very sorry. If you can engineer that event to happen. You can say, I've been working on this for a little while and I think it's going to do really well, so I'm going to kind of obscure little pieces of it so that way the reveal is really good. TikTok is great because you can film little corners of stuff and then post the big thing and people are like, yeah. But my biggest advice, and something that I'm very bad at following, do as I say, not as I do, post it again.
Okay.
Keep posting it. Because people that have recognized that content or that scrolled past it the first time are going to want to see it again. And I think that a lot of people are a little caught up in being as humble as possible and in making new, fresh stuff, because these algorithms and the way that we use social media is like putting meat in a grinder. And it's very easy to say, I have to have new stuff all the time. Right. I stressed myself out in 2020 because I was coping, and I made a brand new project that took me a full month to sew once a month every month. And it was really hard, but I really got stuck in, I have to have new stuff all the time. And I've started reposting a lot of things, and the posts do better than they did when I got that first lightning strike.
Like for me with the TikTok one of being real about my emotions, like I wasn't expecting it to go to like 1 million views. Like, are you kidding? I was literally just like crying. But I've tried to make sure that I've posted updates and kind of, because as people kind of like gravitated towards that and people want to check up, it's like you kind of follow through with that. You post some updates, but you also don't want to stick, if that's not what you want your content to be permanently. I don't want to be all sad girl posts. So you try to like fit in like what you were doing before.
Yeah.
And that you were enjoying versus capitalizing on that.
That's not what the strategy was born.
It's like,
Is it a post that talks about your stuff?
No.
Okay.
It was literally, I wrote the word
advice.
Among Us when Twitter was like launching, and then now people look back and be like, oh, you predicted Among Us. I'm like, I didn't. It's just a common
Dude,
phrase.
I can't help you.
Do like a deep fried like selfie edit where it's like,
Look what I did.
like Magneto style, and like quote tweet the post with that image, you're sold.
And then take that post after it goes viral, and I hate sponsored posts, but the time to do them is when you have a ton of social cred behind them.
Yeah.
So when you have like a post that's really awesome and it does fit your brand and it's gotten a bunch of social engagement already, sponsor that one. That's the one to throw some money behind.
Ooh,
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
For sponsored content, I know what costumes are going to do really good on my page, and that means that they're covered in rhinestones.
Okay.
Or my whole sternum is out. Like, that's the needle. So when I was making Nyx from Hades Game, I had a Warblood North America approach me and ask, "Hey, do you want to use our material?" And I said, "Yes, please." And I knew that costume was going to do really well. I was super passionate about it. I wanted to throw a lot of weight behind it. So by kind of understanding exactly my audience, understanding why the post was going to do well, I was able to guide more analytics towards that sponsorship because I kind of engineered the excitement about it. And it got shared by my friend Jessica Negri immediately, which blew my freaking mind. And we now talk very lightly, which is like, you're so cool. But it is possible. You are able to engineer success like that and back it up in such a way that gets you a great paid deal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Great question.
Hi there. So my content creation circles mainly around my business. But because my business, a lot of it is my personal brand, which is all around bees, hence tried to do that today. But I am trying to find the balance between selling a product, because part of my business is selling a product, as well as my personal brand and who I am. How do you have any advice for like how to, again, balance that and not being just all the time like, try this new thing, but also like, I'm a human. I want to love you. I want to support you and have you guys support me.
First off, what's your shop?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
So what do you sell? Who are you online? Where can we find
Oh,
you?
I am Bubble Bay Beauty. I
Thank
sell makeup products that are long lasting. So like I could rub my whole face right now. None of my makeup comes off. So I love my stuff.
That sounds fun.
I know for me, I just have, I do everyday posts, whether I'm talking about, just what I'm doing daily or with a friend or something like that. And after I do a few of those posts, I'll do something related to the business.
Mhm.
So it doesn't look like you're ramming your business down everyone's throat.
Mhm.
Even though you can have the greatest thing since ice water, no one wants to talk to you about it all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And they want to know that you are a person behind your brand.
Okay.
So you have to have those just general conversations, good, bad, I'm having a bad day, I tripped over a rock, whatever,
Yeah.
this is what I'm having for dinner. Like if you go to my Instagram, like I don't have 1 billion followers and all this because I'm I don't do it like they do it. However, I cook and it's like I love cooking and I love showing pictures of food. So I'll do food and then after a while I'll do a picture of my work or a meeting I'm having or a video of a meeting I'm having. And then, we're talking about food again. So it's kind of just a cornucopia of things. It's not just so, hey, look at me and look at what I'm doing. Hey, look at me and look at what it's not like I make it very homely and very comfortable. And it's less intimidating, I guess, for people that may want to follow. And then, and I'll up them and say, hey, I have a book signing, or hey, this is what's going on with my TV show, or hey, it's peppered in there.
Mhm.
It's not I don't have a brand site. I am selling this, I'm selling this, I'm selling this. So it's different when you do it on your personal site versus this is a business site where we are just selling things.
Gotcha.
So that worked for me. It was less of an automated feeling for the people that like what I do.
Okay. So just setting up that community is what it sounds like.
You definitely need community and show different sides of who you are when you're not doing business.
Okay.
Do you make all your products yourself?
No, I do not. I sell
Okay.
for a company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like one of the things that helps for me, because I sell commission work,
Mhm.
which is a big investment for people.
Mhm.
However, when they see the process behind what goes into it, they're more willing to spend money with me
Ah.
because they understand the amount of handwork.
Mhm.
So when I was making a historically accurate men's coat from 1706,
That's
I
really
had
cool.
to pad stitch a collar. And it took me many, many, many hours to sit there and do all the hand stitching. I'll do time lapses,
Ooh.
and I'll show people what my process looks like. So that way they're getting the content that is, this is what it's like to write a thing. This is what it's like. This is what I ate today. I'm going to sit and I'm going to pack boxes. I did a charity print run. Look at this pile of prints on my floor. here's them all boxed at the end.
Right.
So just showing people your process is enough of a glimpse into your life and enough of a glimpse into what goes into this that they're like, okay, that's a human there.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I can still
do
do
that.
But she
that.
can still
which
do
makes
that
sense.
with
Yeah.
working for the company. You know, you can get clips from them in manufacturing. Or,
Oh yeah, I mean, I do a lot of my own. I have my own inventory,
Packaging.
and I love my packaging. Packaging's like
Or
my
if like
favorite
with
thing.
doing like the makeup and
Yeah.
stuff, like you can do
Yeah.
like live streams or like time lapse pictures of doing your makeup.
Thank
like
you.
be like doing, hey, this is how I put it on. This is
Oh,
what it
that
looks
that
like.
is that I've got.
You know,
Those I've got.
because that really gets people like to watch that for some
We do.
reason.
I
really
actually do a lot of Pokemon looks because.
So at first I was like, I don't want to go on there without my makeup on, but it's like then people like watch it and it's like this is kind of cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it is posting a lot of that makes you.
Okay.
Like what makes you different? Like for me with like my Twitch streams, it's like I want to post enough on Instagram and stuff of like my personality because like I want you to come watch me talk.
Mhm.
So there's got to be stuff that I'm posting that you enjoy or you can relate to that'll make you want to come have a conversation with me.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Was that a hand in the back or? Okay.
And remember, whenever you come up to ask a question and you've got something to pimp out, you should tell us.
Yeah.
We all want
yourself.
we all need to
Yourself,
network.
yeah.
We all need to, we gotta find things.
Well, hey, that actually kind of relates because I want to talk about networking. So I'm Emily. I'm a swan named Emily across the internet. I'm an artist. But I want to talk about especially in person, when you are networking, do you find it is better to hand out something that sends people to like your link tree that has all of your socials, or do you find it's better to send them to a specific one? Like, is it overwhelming to ask them to click twice to go to that link tree page and then pick if they want to go to Instagram or Twitter or something like that, or just be like, nope, here's me on Instagram. Hopefully you also have Instagram too.
It depends.
yeah.
Have I had 3 beers and it's 2 a.m. at Dragon Con? What's your Instagram?
It's at a swan named Emily.
Wonderful. I'll go follow you right now. See, we networked. So I think that depending on the amount of time that you are asking somebody to spend on you, is a great way to kind of say, okay, I remember when we all, as cosplayers, used to like carry around cards, or if you were at a convention and
I still have
business
cards.
I still have cards. I
They're
still
in my
super
purse.
use them.
I gave a couple out today.
So then you are asking people, please remember me later and go follow. But if you're speaking to someone and it's conversation, I think it's a great idea to just be like, what social media do you use the most? How am I going to interact with them? And what is the way to find you? And if all those things say Instagram, then just ask for their @
Which comes back to your question earlier about how should you be on every single platform? You should at least have a page on every platform, because what if they don't use Instagram and they don't use Twitch and they don't use TikTok, but they have a Twitter, but you don't?
Sure.
Yeah.
So at least that gives you,
Yeah.
there at least could be a link on the Twitter that you may never use, but there's a link to your other things if that's the only
But
social
aren't
media they have.
QR codes good for that?
Yeah,
You can have a QR code go to any
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like even if it's just like a picture of whatever you're doing, and an email and blah 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 on that picture, it's like QR code. There's everything about you.
That's
Everyone's
what-
going with your life.
Linked or a Linktree is a great resource for that.
Yeah.
You can't have a QR code
Yeah.
there. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook all have native QRs.
TikTok has
Yeah.
QR.
Yeah.
And the
Everyone has a
pandemic made
QR
them
now.
sexy again.
It did.
They were still sexy to me. I love it.
I love
it
it
for you.
I love a campsite.io. Oh, that is your question.
Oh, that's perfect.
Hi. So another question. For those of you who are mainly on Instagram and kind of focusing on the algorithm, I have a question about, as far as collections, what do you guys see the most success in? Is it like tutorials or the process of you doing something like, how people are saving it to a collection because I know that can boost your posts a lot, or like get that engagement into it? Is there a certain thing that you guys are seeing a lot of success in? Like, is it tutorials, or is it like a follow me, or a this is what I do for in a day, or anything like that? Is there any type of pattern that you guys realize, or do you just kind of?
For me, it's secret content. It's like they're getting something. Like when I'm on Clubhouse, and the great thing about, again, Clubhouse is so 24 hours. You can go there at 1:39 in the morning, and whatever entertainer, whoever has 5 million people in the room, and they're listening and things like that. So if you have my book, The God Maps, Volume 1, that is being turned into a TV series right now. I started writing book 2 3 days after I was done with book 1. And it's just been kind of sitting. So now that the book has gotten like super popular, it's like, what is happening in book 2? You know, like what happened to these people? But I said, well, I have the first chapter that I will be reading on this day at this time. And next thing you know is, 200, 300 people in the room, like listening intently at what you were talking about, because they're waiting on what happened. So if you have some things that a new line, like, she may have a new line of something, or you have whatever new content that people have been waiting on, or a new version of it, to actually showcase it on wherever will drive people to, wherever you are. And you can then have a conversation or give them more content on the next thing or whatever else you want to say. But it's all, they do want to be fed. They want, they want to carnivorous.
Yeah,
they are
there because they're hungry, right?
Yeah. They want to be fed. So
on Instagram specifically with collections, I haven't found that they boost my work. I find that setting up highlights, like story highlights, tends to do a little bit better because it is right on your page. Accessibility is really huge too. So if you're posting often about, I'm going to be reading this first chapter, and you do it a couple of times, great recycled content, and you can post it right on Instagram. When they look at your page, it's right there at the top in a little bubble. Yep. So good UI UX is how lazy can you allow someone to be? And that means if they look at your page and the bubble's right there, I use the bubble. Okay. I've done a couple of collections that are like, all my commission work is in a collection, but I don't update it very frequently. But I do catalog a lot of my stuff in stories, a super huge amount of it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all. We are at 3:27, and I want to give everybody enough time to run through and kind of hit their who they are again, their socials, so that everybody can follow. I don't know about y'all. I will be around after the panel if folks still have questions. And if I don't know the answer, I will get you in touch with the people who do, because that's what I'm good at. And so let's go down from the other end this way, and we'll start with Tyra and kind of give everybody your info. Thank you so much for being here.
So that's weird. I don't know what to say all of a sudden, which is very weird for me. You can find me online at tyraburton.com, and I'm pretty much Tyra Burton everywhere but Twitter, where somebody was single and ready to mingle named Tyra Burton. Right. And that is the only thing she has ever posted, ever. And I want to hit her. So I'm Tyra Ann Burton with an E there because, well, you got to do what you got to do. Geek Meets Social is my podcast that should be relaunching, and I'll be doing a podcast for Kennesaw State University called Spark from Coles College coming up by the end of the year. So I'm kind of excited about that and terrified.
Okay, my name is Yvette Kendall. My Instagram, because that's where I frequent, is sci-fi, SCIFI.CEO, sci-fi CEO. And you can Google Yvette Kendall. My website is YvetteKendall.com. My books are there on YvetteKendall.com. And you can also go to Amazon and look up The God Maps Volume 1 or A Zombie for Mommy, or any of my comic books that I am writing as well. And that's about it for me.
I am Vi or Vic or Vicious Frockery. I'm available on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I stream Twitch on Mondays and every other Thursday at Gut Punch RP. We do tabletop gaming and raise money for I Need Diverse Gaming, which is a diversity in gaming spaces charity. I make a lot of things, and you can find me in those places.
What was your Instagram?
Vicious Frockery.
And I am Faydra _Black. That is my handle on every single social media platform except for TikTok. It's Faydra _Black 2 because my first account got banned.
Yeah. On Instagram, I'm vicious.frockery because F me.
Yeah, like the first one got banned because apparently walking around in heels is too sexy.
Ooh. Yeah. That is not safe for work.
Not at all. Twitch streamer, I stream currently Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. because I pretty much have people that are sitting at their desk and board and hang out and chat. And I use closed captions on my stream so people can read instead of having to listen.
Oh, that's
that
wonderful.
way it makes it more accessible for everybody as well. And then TikTok's just random craziness.
Awesome.
Who
Thank
are
you.
you?
Oh, my name is Mike Ellison. I'm on a podcast called In Addition, The View style podcast with a swan named Emily, at Kruggles on Twitter, and Tony P. Henderson from the Avengers movies. Also,
oh my God, this head
you
couldn't
can
get any
find me
bigger.
online at Future X Skeleton, because one day I will die. I don't know when, but it will happen. Make sure to tag the panel, #DragonCon DMT 2021. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We will appreciate it more when you text mentor to 243-725 and give your money to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Metro Atlanta. That is DragonCon's official charity for 2021. They are matching dollar for dollar up to $100,000 when you text that number and give them your money. So do that. BBB-SMA makes at-risk youth develop positive relationships that have direct and long-lasting effects on the lives of young people to help ignite their full potential by matching children, aka littles, with adult volunteers, aka bigs. And that's the DragonCon official charity for 2021. So give them your money. And then when you have leftover, subscribe to everybody's Patreons and coffees and give them your money also.
What's the number again?
That is 243-725, the word mentor, MENTOR. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Awesome.
Guys, you are wonderful.
You are a pro at this. I see.
Certainly not.
Thank you.
It was really lovely to meet you. Yeah, you too. You too.
I wondered if it did.
Good job, Dad.